Because you mentioned it
Baby,
was
we
like
are live. Do you
like
hear me?
two things you said. The early signs of
Baby, we are live. I gotta
this
go
woman here.
add y'all.
This woman here.
We
Okay,
live though.
I'll wait till she come
I
back.
gotta go tag y'all.
What you doing?
Go ahead.
Hmm?
I said, go ahead.
Okay, you said the early. Okay, like I'm gonna go into this ELA mode, teacher mode. You said the early signs of what unhealthy who,
Relationship.
and then on the other part you mentioned about what should you stay or
Red.
leave? Stay or leave. So that's together,
Yeah,
right?
still leaving. I said red flags. I think this right here called red flag.
I'll be telling about stay free. Okay.
Cause
So,
that was
I said
all, baby.
stay or leave.
Right away when I read it, I was saying, child, I can't tell nobody whether you right. What Kim said to
yeah,
stay or leave.
I ain't telling nobody stay or leave. No, this they did. And I'm just gonna
Can
click
you
on
get it?
what.
Meaning, yeah. So like I'm gonna talk a little bit, but like what Kendra said, no, I
I
can't
ain't.
tell you what to do.
We always be putting
Yeah,
that
cause
cat.
I know, cause we were talking about marriage.
Always,
Then we went into
she
divorce.
always catch us off guard.
I know
She
she
did
would naturally want to
stuff
break the folks
the
up.
same time. She
Kendra,
did the same thing
marriage,
the they were saying.
look, marriage, then divorce. Now she want to break them up.
Yeah.
Listen,
Baby,
girl.
that let you know. Look, that let you know how the relationship usually go. You get married, you feel like you want to leave, then next thing you know, you're gone. And then you want to come back. So it's okay. We're gonna come back eventually.
But this is the thing, because I know somebody, it's like somebody want to know. So it's like the people that be really want to know, get them to come on here and talk. Cause it's like they giving
That'll
us,
be good.
we're
That'll
not
be
getting
good.
all of it because it's see they need to give us a reason why they feel like should I stay or leave. You feel me?
Cause it's a thin line right there. It's a very thin line.
You
Well,
hear
I
me?
mean, you
So
got
you
one
can't
person
just.
though. You got
And
one
I'm not
person
trying to
right
get on
here.
here. I'm not trying to get on here telling people to jump ship in their relationship or their marriage. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just here to share, what they need to be aware of or
You
beware
smother, Kendra. You
of.
smother. You smother. I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, you can't. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I was saying is, like we can give people the signs, but ultimately, we live right now.
Yes, we are.
Oh, we live right now. Okay. So to me, you gonna start off, Maria? Or you want us to just start talking?
You can go on, Karen. Cause I think we've been live now for about 3 minutes now already. Yeah,
Okay,
three
okay.
minutes. So you
But
go on.
I'm
Uh
just
huh.
gonna I'm just
I
gonna
mean, I
say it
couldn't
like
hear.
this.
I couldn't
Uh huh.
hear her. I don't know if she's still talking or not.
You hear me?
Seems like everybody going in and out. Z,
Okay.
who was
Uh huh.
talking, y'all? Who was talking?
I was talking, but I didn't. You said you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you then. What were you saying, Kendra? I can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying that like the purpose of this is for people that are having doubts and are going through something that they feel like may be unhealthy. So to me, it's really all about how a relationship makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that person has to use their own discernment, their own discretion. But we're just on here to share some things about
That's
um,
that's right.
how
Uh.
it's unhealthy from probably experience or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I'm gonna say this because I don't want people to think that I'm against relationship, marriage, or anything like that. Because I want to try to be in a relationship or maybe married again one day. I don't know. I'm not
That's
gonna get
right.
on here and mess myself up with this, okay?
That's right.
So,
That's
but
right.
some people are really going through it. Some people are really going through it, and some people have a history. Because I have a history. Some people have a history of maybe choosing the wrong person to be with, or somebody who is not for them or somebody who is unhealthy. for them. So hopefully this will help somebody probably make better choices, you know, to be with somebody who they're actually compatible with, to be with somebody that they can actually have a healthy relationship with. And I'm gonna say this: just because you might be in an unhealthy relationship doesn't mean that that person is necessarily a bad person. It just
Right.
Mm-hmm.
mean it may mean that y'all are just a bad combination. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
people get together and they bring, somebody brings out all the wrong things, or you may bring out all the wrong things in them. They might bring out all the wrong things in you. And then
Mm-hmm.
some people are just, kind of toxic. They have some toxic traits,
That's
both
it.
men
Mm-hmm.
and women. Sometimes when we talk about unhealthy relationship, then the women dismiss themselves and start focusing on the men. This is not what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
not what this is about either. It's not to bash men or anything like that, because when it comes to unhealthy relationship, it can be on the part of a woman or a man. But I'm
Right.
just gonna put it like this. To me, it's the feeling. How do you feel in that relationship?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? Because nobody can
What you do
tell
for?
you. They can look on the
Give
outside
me
and look,
earpiece.
baby, you could
Thank
be
you.
holding hands, dressed up, taking pictures on Facebook. How do I know? I just know from experience.
Yeah.
And people can be looking at you and thinking that you the sweetest couple, that you got it all together, you look good together, you're doing things together. And they can just feel, they can think, it can seem like you got it all together, but how does the relationship make you feel? Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel
Mm-hmm.
safe in that relationship with that person? Do
Mm,
you
yep.
feel love in the relationship with that person? How do you feel in that relationship? Does it make you feel safe? Are you safe where you can say things that are on your heart and your mind? Are you safe where you can go to bed at night and not worry about that person harassing you, threatening you, hitting you, belittling you? Are you in that relationship walking around on eggshells,
Come
scared
on
to
now.
say stuff or do a
Come on.
certain thing because you
Come
might
on.
set the person off? Are you walking around on pins and needles because you know it's certain things that you can't say and you can't communicate with that person because you know how they're going to respond to it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to say this to start off. There's a feeling that comes with a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship. In an
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy relationship, you're not going to feel safe. You're not going to feel like you belong. You're not going to feel like you can be yourself. You're not going to feel emotionally safe, and you may not feel physically safe. So to me, like, to just categorize it just generally, it's the feeling that you get in the relationship. It might be perfect to someone else that's on the outside, but they don't know what's going on the inside of the relationship. So to me, it's all about how their relationship is making you feel.
That's right.
Y'all
Okay.
can just
And
go
so,
with it.
all
Hmm.
right. And so I chime in because I'm over here. I was nodding my head as you were talking, because the things that you were saying are the things it is that I have gone through in my marriage. I've been married for
Mm.
17 years. I've been married for 17 years. And I felt like, oh my God, like I had walked into hell. Like what, with the walking around on eggshell, don't know what to say, how to talk to a person, trying to figure out a right time to say something. And it most definitely all those things. And the person said, well, you still there? You there, still there? Oh, let me bag it up. But at that point, I was like, I can't do this. No, heck no. Like I got to go. But it didn't work out that smoothly. It wasn't like that. I'm not fixing to fancy it up for you that way. No, I felt like, well, if I can't even, and the guy, I'm sorry, let me turn my body down because I mean I talk so loud. I couldn't even um just hold a conversation without uh it being picked apart or me not able to finish what it is I'm trying to say. So what do you do? What do you do when you want to be heard? When you want to so you go and lean on somebody else's shoulder. You gonna allow them? Come on. See,
Wait a minute
I
now.
I don't
Go
I'm
ahead.
not playing. I'm not playing. You gonna
Go
lean on
ahead.
somebody else's shoulder for
Let's
for
be
them
real. Let's be real.
for them
Yeah.
to listen. I didn't say
Yeah.
sex. I didn't say that I went to the level of had was intimate, had sex, committed adultery. Now I went and leaned on somebody else for some support All I wanted him to do was just listen to me. I can't even talk without feeling guilty. So what I had to do, and what we had to come to the realization that, hey, if you don't listen to me, communicate with me, and allow me to not feel like I'm in prison, I will walk off and I will leave this joint. I
Just like
start
that.
all over. So what had to happen was, because I was like, rah, 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 because you ain't listen to me anyway. So we had to sit down and he had to hear what I was saying. I need you to just talk to me. I need you to listen to me. I need you to know that I have a voice. You didn't, you're not my, what you call the people in prison? A warden. I'm not in prison. Like, it's not your way or the highway. So we had to almost get or renew our vows or put it all out there. Like, what we gonna do? And everybody that know see me and us now the way we are, like we inseparable. Like he my shadow, his shadow. But it didn't get it was some rough patches. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just simple. It was just simple. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what is this? So what I did,
Mm-hmm.
I was wanting to leave, but after we and I saw the progress and change because I can't change him. It
You
ain't
had to
nothing I
talk
could
about
do.
it. Y'all had to talk about it. Get to come
Just
together and talk about it.
and for him to fully understand what it was and what I was saying and where I was coming from and because a person don't see that. They don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't see that I'm walking around on eggshells. I don't know what to say. You know what he would tell me? You need to toughen up. You just emotional. You just I better not get teared. So it's like Ned Sabo, like put your bootstraps on and tie them up and get on. Like deal with it, get over it. Oh, I don't think so. No, no, I'm not gonna continue to do this. I'm not gonna be in this marriage that way. So we had to sit down and lay it all out. What we gonna do and find out like what it is. What are you doing? Oh, this is what you're doing. I need you to understand here. This is how this make me feel. This is what you're doing. And so, hey, the way I would do, I hit below the belt. I mouth off. I say what I'm gonna say. And so we just at war. And I don't know how to come to you. I'm snapping, you snapping. I cut you off. I'm short with you. You short with me. And we had to figure that. And it's over with now, baby. Like they say, look at the screen. It's your man. Yeah, that's my man. Yep, I'm sick beside him. Yep. Oh, it's over with. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, we made it to the good part
That's
now,
my man. Yeah, that's my man. I'm sticking beside him.
you know, because I can't fluff nothing up, like I'm all cherries and cream. No, I got a mouth.
Me too.
Mm.
And so I
And
want
me
you, I
too.
want to demean you,
I
make you
know I
feel,
got one.
I want to make you feel less than a man since you won't hear me.
Woo! Cut him deep.
So I had to learn that
Lord hear
was
me.
not the way. It wasn't healthy. That wasn't healthy. It affected me. It affected my children.
Oh,
So here we are on the other side, cause it's light in the tunnel. In the tunnel, we out the tunnel now.
Hmm.
So they don't tell you all that when you get married and you say I do, or when you're in a relationship you see it's not all peaches and cream.
Right.
Mm.
So somebody else can
I agree
talk.
with all that, Vivian. I have something I want to say. I think a lot of times we are attracted to a person because of their differences and their alikeness. But the same opposites that attract you are the same opposites that get on your nerves later on and you want to take off and run. They cute in the beginning. And then they
Oh wow.
start aggravating you and rubbing you the wrong way until you raw, and want to start, And I realized that the older I get, my needs change a little more, you know.
Mm.
Things that I could tolerate before, I don't have a lot of tolerance for now. Because when you get a little older, the clock seems like it started going a little faster. So there's an urgency to do things right and get things right. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't have a lot of tolerance for each other. They saying what they need, you saying what you need, but nobody's hearing each other. You understand what I'm saying? And God allowed me to go
Hmm.
through a period when I wasn't talking to anyone. No communication as far as being interested in someone like that. Just me, just me. So when you're forced to be with you, then you're forced to put that mirror in front of you and see the things that are toxic about yourself. Because I got a mouth as well, and I can sure enough cut you deep with what I say. So God had to let me learn through different experiences that had nothing to do with companions how to shut up. I had to go to work and have to close
Mm-hmm.
my mouth at times when I wanted to pop off. But hey, you got them kids you got to take care of, so you need to be quiet. So God is still teaching me in other ways how to hold my peace and express myself calmly and to a point where they can understand and relate to what I'm saying. Because if you angry and you snapping out, they're not gonna hear you. And if they're snapping at you, you're not gonna hear them. So God took me to a place of calmness. And I was like in turmoil at work sometimes, but I couldn't say anything. I had to be quiet and hold my peace. So that helped me learn that in relationships, there are times where you're not going to be able to talk. It's not the time because
Mm-hmm.
both of y'all are overheated. You got to go somewhere and regroup, stop talking, get yourself together, reevaluate yourself, and know you're not always wrong. But there are going to be times when you can't say nothing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't saying keep the peace is always the right approach, because sometimes it, if you want to keep the peace and they don't, that ain't gonna work either, you know. But
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you
And so
gotta
we,
learn
yeah,
to know that there are two people in the relationship. I know how I
Mm-hmm.
feel, but they got feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And you have to give a person, you have to give the person the opportunity to, like you said, cool down. If that person is not ready to talk about something that's going on, give that person some time so that they
Yes,
can be in the right frame of mind. Don't force that person to have that discussion. Just say we're going to revisit it. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
right,
revisit it when both of us calm down, because if I know myself, if I'm not calm, it's not going to turn out right. It's not going to
right.
turn out right. And then
And there are times where you gotta learn to agree
Nell
to
was
disagree.
saying, yeah, and Nell was saying about, being quiet. Now, I'm going to tell you how I was, and, God had to deal with me too. I was quiet, but it was it was offensive because I was given a silent treatment. Like you give a person silent treatment, like you totally ignore that they exist.
Yeah,
So that it's a difference between being quiet and giving somebody the silent treatment. Because you give somebody silent treatment, that makes them feel disrespected. And I hadn't really noticed that about myself, but I know now that um like in a heated discussion of when I get upset, instead of telling the person I tell the person I need some time by myself, but the whole time I really just been ignoring the other person or giving that person
right.
the silent treatment, acting like
Mm-hmm.
they're not important or they don't exist at all. Like I'll ignore the heck out of you.
Yep. Yep.
Like I'll walk around and read a book and get my laptop and I will act like you do not exist at all. Like you're a ghost. And so that's the thing that I recognized that I had to switch up, change it up, because I was thinking I was doing right by being quiet, but I wasn't being quiet. I was giving the person the silent treatment, and there's
It's
a
a
difference.
difference. Mo,
It's
yeah,
a
my.
different, because
Mm-hmm.
you already know on the inside how you feel, and you already know on the inside. I'm gonna be so quiet. I'm gonna make them feel bad.
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna
In
be
that
so
order.
quiet. I'm gonna make them feel like they not important. They don't even exist to me. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So even in quietness, we have a way to try to retaliate or get back at a person because we're upset with them. So I had to learn to say, okay, I'm upset. So let's revisit this. But the person has to give you an opportunity to do that. So if they don't give you the opportunity to do that, it's not going to work out.
Mm.
Okay. Mr. Zeke,
Like Zeke that went to sleep.
he's there.
Zeke, come on, Zeke.
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to switch over to my phone because this one about to die. Give me one. Somebody go. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Boy, you sound like
1 minute.
somebody I know, Alan.
Give me 1 minute.
Okay. I know. I want to say that you know, people, everybody loves to be respected in a relationship. So it's so important. Sometimes, I'm not just going to say this, sometimes, and I don't know, I mean, it could be from a man's or woman perspective,
Y'all
but
speaking.
sometimes people, one person feel like they rule the relationship. You know, they're
I was
in
going to ask you
control and
this.
they're
Yeah,
in
people get the
charge of the
controller thing.
relationship. Now, then they try to use a scripture to back it up to talk about submission.
Mm.
Well, their submission, and I'm gonna say this: submission don't make people feel bad. It doesn't make people feel belittled. It doesn't make people feel inferior or unimportant in a relationship. Submission don't mean that you treat a person like they're a child or like they don't know anything. Like I've been on this planet for 47 years. You know, you don't treat a person like they're a child. You don't treat a
Mm-hmm.
person like they don't know anything or they don't have an opinion about anything. So
That's
that makes a person feel unsafe when you treat that person inferior. And see, we need to stop getting these definitions mixed up. Submission is not subservient.
Woo!
That's
That's a
not
good
Wow.
subservient. A lot of people try to use the script to talk about submission. Well, if we want to talk about submission, submission goes both ways, and
hey, cause
everybody understanding their particular role in that marriage, in their relationship. But when you talk about subservience, you talking about that's why you feel like you locked up in jail or you in prison. You in a relationship, you feel like you in
Right,
prison
right,
because that person trying to control you. That person
right.
trying to manipulate you. That person act like you don't have good sense. You don't have anything that you can contribute to the relationship or the marriage. So we shouldn't make people feel like that. That's unhealthy to make somebody feel like, okay, I'm the really, and let's talk about being the head because the head means you ain't nothing but a servant. Look
Ooh.
at pastors of a church. You the pastor of the church, you the pastor, but really you're a servant. Look
Mm-hmm.
at Jesus, who he was. He was a servant. Look at the husband role. The husband is the leader, but the husband is actually a servant. And then you have a lot of people that talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. That wasn't no weak woman, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 31 woman, she made sure that she took care of everything so that her husband could shine, so that her
Mm-hmm.
husband could be well spoken of, but she worked with him.
Okay.
She wasn't inferior to him. She knew
Mm-hmm.
her role and she worked along with him to make sure that they got things done. It's not right for somebody to treat somebody like they're beneath them and they don't have a voice. They don't have anything to contribute. Okay. And so I think that we need to kind of make sure that we draw the line between somebody being submissive because when they talk the Bible talk about submission, we're supposed to be submissive one to another, but that is not subservience. That's not belittling somebody or making that person feel like I'm the head, I'm in charge, I run things, I do. That's not even love. That's not even love when you treat a person like that. So, you know, don't treat nobody like a child or that they're inferior or, you know, get the definition of submission mixed up with subservience. You know, some people try to throw a scripture in there to try to manipulate and control you. That bird don't even fly.
Mm-hmm. Is
Just
Mr.
want to
Zeke
say that.
ready?
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. Zeke ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, he ready. Okay, we're gonna stop talking. Okay. I'm gonna mute my
Hello.
mic so we can hear him clearly. If you all probably do the same thing, I'm gonna mute
Okay,
so he can clear.
should I mute mine?
It's about the question one more time. I want to make the question one more time. I was listening to you ladies, everyone speak, but I got to speak for the fellas. I got to speak for the guys. And I agree. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Reasons why we can say, but I agree with Miss. How you say your name? Your sister, um,
Vivian.
Vivian. I agree with what you're saying about first earlier when she was talking about, it's a lot we can say, but we need to get the people opinion that it actually, is happening to, but not, because everything is different in everyone's relationship. you know.
What's the name coming out of them?
But you just have to. But what I look at it as far as for me, from my experience, and what you were saying about Kendra, what you were saying about making people feel less of what they are, in their relationship, and that's what I can say I had a problem with a lot. You see what I'm saying? Because, and it's not that me saying things, certain things, it's just your actions, like you say. You showing that you don't care when you do really care, or you care, but you don't know how to show that you care. But I think a lot of it comes from on the man side is because, we was always taught not to show feelings. And feelings was never shown to us. Is when I mean feelings mean as far as love, fatherly love, compassion and things like that. Because we was always showing you, hey, you got to be the man. You need to grow up and do things like that. And so that's what I think a lot of it comes from, because it's not the fact that a person don't love or don't care for, the next individual or their soulmate, but it's just a lot of people haven't received it, so they don't know how to give it. You see what I'm saying? So I think
That's good. That's good.
That is one of the biggest reasons what we have, and really in the Black community is what we have, because a lot of times, I can say from experience, a lot of times, we have the parents, a lot of parents don't go above and beyond. The first thing they say is, well, I'm just gonna give it to God and let God handle it. But I believe in that, sometimes, when what's having, your child haven't had a father, or you haven't been as a mother, you probably been there physically, but you haven't been there as like, to that person, hey, I'm here for you, I'm this, I'm that. And so once they get older, get grown, that show it don't, it's the same thing. So it's a cycle. So now in a marriage, and the same cycle is going on, and the husband or the wife, they thinking they the problem, when the whole time it's something happened from, from younger coming up, because they never received that attention. And the attention that they always seek, it was never in a positive way. It could have been in a negative way. And so that's what I look at it from, as I look at it as it's, a lot of things we go through and we see that we experience and we older, it started from something we young, but it never got fixed. Or we never talk to anyone about it and things like that. So that's what I feel. And that's what, from the experience, for me talking to a lot of the guys, you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys, like, it's hard to be open as a guy. Guys don't like to be open. You're very, very close, because, they look at it as that, make them a man, because I thought like that, for a long time, until I learned, hey, it makes you not a man because you don't want to discuss it. You don't want to confront it. That's what I feel. I had to learn that. A lot of older guys I hang around, a lot of my mentors, they tell me, it makes you a man when you don't want to confront the situation that's in front of you. That's what makes you not a man. He said, so a man, so don't think you're not a man because you're talking about it, you want to get some help. That's now you becoming a man, because you're admitting your wrongdoing. You're admitting where you're lacking it in your life, so that's why I think, a lot of problems come in the relationship. And another thing is that, we got to understand, we know the person we married before we marry them. It don't take a long time to see who that person really is, before you marry them. And I, and I
You don't
say
know
in marriages,
everything, though, Zeke.
huh?
You don't know everything.
I mean, you don't know everything, but you can.
You know some.
It's science. But if you're actually with a person, I think that if you're with a person, you learn them. Like, you learn what they don't like, what they like. You learn a lot about them, because I learn a lot from person just sitting back and looking. And when a person don't say a lot, to me, that's a lot. When a person is closed, that's a lot to me, because I can tell, like, hey, this person has really been through some things. This person dealt with things, because they're not very open. You see what I'm saying? When people don't talk a lot, because that's why I can relate to it, because that's how I am. Like I say, and that's what happened to me in my relationship, because I'm not like, the small things that we come in, we don't know, that I take for granted. A lot of people take for granted, like coming in the house, hey, how you doing? How your day been? We walking in the house and I'm going my way, you going your way, but we living in the same house. We only saying something to each other when it's probably time to eat or we leaving. We not sitting down having a conversation. And so it's almost like it's just a roommate. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's a thing that I felt
Mhm.
that I, can occur to and talk about because I feel like that was me. You see what I'm saying? And so, but like you say, everyone is different for everyone. But I think it all starts because, as far as the men, we never had the chance to express ourselves. And when we did express ourselves, we was not because we were considered not a man. And so that's what I think what happens in a lot of times in a relationship because a woman, a woman's gonna be sincere, that's gonna they're gonna let you know. But then a lot of times, and go back to what you were saying about Kenya, about the men, people in a relationship feel less because they might make less, the man might make less than a woman. So he feel like, okay, I don't have no authority, so I'm gonna sit back and take the back burner. But a lot of times, and that's what but it's not about financially being stable all the time. It's not about that because people can help you in other areas where money can't. You see what I'm saying? That's what the soulmate is
Goodness.
for. It's not there for to see who can make the most money, who gonna make the most money. So if I make the most money, I'm gonna be the head. I'm gonna run things, we're gonna do it my way. But that's what it's not a soulmate or a companion is about. The companion is about to help you there because you might be able to make the money, but you might not know how to keep the money. You might not know how to invest the money. You might not know how to see the money grow, but your soulmate might have the right ideas and might be around the right people to help you. And so we can't look at it always financially. But a lot of times it happens because a lot of times in most marriages, the men's 9 times out of 10, they make less than the woman. You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes they be
Mhm.
intimidated. They be intimidated by it. So, but as for a woman, a lot of times you might not say it, a man can feel like they can tell when it's kind of showing. Like a woman, okay, well I'll make the moves. He's gonna dance by my music. You might not see it physically, but a man can tell, And so say he sit back, and what his problem is that he's not going through or trying to. He's not leaving the house and doing this. He's slacking. He feel like he's slacking in the area where he shouldn't be slacking. He looking at his life leaving home is like, okay, man, I'm 30. I, I should be farther than what I'm at, but I'm 30. So it's a lot go through the mind, as a man. And not saying, don't make excuses, but those are facts. Those are things that we facing every day. It's not excuses, but it's just reality. But you just have to cope with it and sit down and talk. Because that's why, I learned. And my guys, I was talking to a guy, I met a guy that was a counselor and everything. And he said that, the biggest problem is what don't help us is we don't talk about it. We hold it in, and if you can release it, you start to find peace with it. Once you got someone that can listen to you, but like I tell them, it's so hard to find someone to listen to you because they're not listening to you; they're judging you. These days, it's not where you listen to me to try to help me. You listen to me to try to hurt me. You seeing all the information you can gain. So when something you see what I'm saying, something go wrong,
They'll
then
try to
it's
use it
about the
against
woman.
you.
They try to use it
Yeah.
against you. So that's
That's
what I look at. And it's a lot. It's a lot to it. It's a lot. We can, like I say, we can go on and on about it. But I just want to speak for the guys. For the men, because like I say, we deal with a lot. And like you say, we already there, to automatic count it out. From day one, we've been counted out. As far as showing up black men, we counted out. But like I say, we have to, you just have to grow. You got to, but you also, but the biggest problem is that, I found is that, a lot of times we try to cope things, our way, and we know, and we really need to, be on the spiritual side, gain a relationship with God, to help you out because sometimes certain things you can't tell, you know, everyone, certain things you don't want to talk to, but and that's why I tell them and that's why I looked at myself. I told myself, in order for me to trust someone, to talk to him, I got to first gain a relationship with God. You know, I don't have a relationship with God, so how can I trust? That's why I used to think, how can I trust? So let me gain my relationship with God. Let me, talk to someone. Because it is, it is what it is. It's a lot. It's a lot that the men face and the women face. But like I say, it's harder on the men. You see what I'm saying? Than it is the woman. But like I say, it all boils down to it's a lot of things we didn't learn, we didn't get. And people say, I love people say this term, I love my mom, I love the women, I love my black women to death. But kids need a father. You like they need that man, they need that role. They need that role. Like the women do a great job. My mom was a single parent. She raised me out, but it's a lot that I missed.
But see, like you were saying with the men, like men have a natural aggression. Like, and we got boys too. And the men that men are naturally aggressive. And like you said, some of them didn't have their father figure, and some of them weren't raised by fathers. With some men, they had men in the community that, gave them some guidance or whatever. But sometimes they take a pattern after the wrong person.
Right.
And they start using their aggression to kind of control the relationship because they don't have the know-how to be that man in a relationship, to do it the right way, the respectful way, and to fulfill their role as a man and as a leader in their relationship. But because they have not been taught to lead, then some of them turn to what their strength is. And their strength is, because they have a lot of testosterone, their strength is to be aggressive. And so some men, if they haven't learned the right way, they start to want to fight to have their way. They might want to hit to have their way. They might want to grab somebody's neck so they can have their way, because like he said, they don't know how to express themselves any other way. They just going by a pattern of what they saw. So we can look at patterns, but sometimes we're afraid to look at patterns because it's going to uncover somebody that may be our mother or our father or our uncle or somebody that we grew up with. So we always want to make people right. You know what I'm saying? We always, just because we were raised a certain way, that's what's normal to us. So I had to go back and look at my patterns. So sometimes we ignore our patterns because that might make it seem like my mama wasn't perfect, or my mama didn't right, or my daddy wasn't perfect. And they were not. A lot of them were not. A lot of them didn't know how to, to do the right thing, and some men, they spent their time in prison or locked up, or on the street, or dealing drugs and stuff like that. So they did not play that role. But sometimes I think we ignore the patterns because it might make it seem like, somebody that raised us, it might make them look bad. No, but we got to examine those patterns, because we're going to take that same baggage and then we're going to be in a relationship. And like you said, it starts from there. It's going to be all messed up because nobody knows how to function in a relationship, because what they have been exposed to was not healthy. Was unhealthy. So I think and I agree with you that we got to go back, even for the men and the women. We got to go back and look at the pattern. So some baggage is good because some people were given a good pattern or a good example. Some things we keep, we need to decide, we got to examine this thing. Let's look at it. Some of this stuff we need to keep, and some of this stuff we don't need.
Right. You right.
We don't need all these bags now. It's just like at your house. You got, at some point, your house gonna get cluttered if you hold on to everything. It's some stuff you got to get with your family. Say, okay, we finna throw all this stuff away, then we're gonna keep this because we need this. But all this other unnecessary stuff, like I was cleaning out my closet and I had stuff that, and I'm thinking if I hadn't used it by now, I'm not gonna use it.
Right.
I don't need it. It's taking up space. It's taking up room. It's creating clutter. That's the same thing we have to do with all these patterns that we learn. Some of this stuff we got to unlearn. Me, some of this stuff we gotta learn how to, be quiet sometimes, listen, respond to the person, let them know you listen, create, like he was saying, some men don't feel comfortable. So that means we had to create a safe place. So that man will feel comfortable expressing himself and not having to say, oh, she ain't gonna respond like, ooh, you just old sis, like, what you doing there for? You supposed to be a man or whatever. So we have to watch those patterns, and we gotta start looking at some stuff. I know we hate to look at, mama, dad, uncle, whatever, but we gotta start looking at some stuff and say, hey, this just ain't the way it should be. We don't need to keep this stuff. I don't need to take this into my family or to my next relationship. So we have to examine some stuff, and we got to sometimes go back to say, sometimes we figure just because that's our mama, our dad, our stepdad, our uncle, that, they must be all right. That don't mean they taught you the right thing.
Right.
And sometimes they were just surviving themselves, and you don't even know why they did, what they did. And so we have to look at that, because that's the only way we're going to change, like the issue that we're having with a lot of our young Black men in particular, that have turned to violence. That came from somewhere. Ain't no need of us, and I ain't trying to change the subject, but ain't no need of us blaming these young people. It comes from a pattern. It came from somewhere. It just didn't pop up, and all of a sudden we having trouble with all our young Black men. Now that came from somewhere. There's a root somewhere. So we can keep on doing our dilly-dallying around it, but eventually we're gonna have to get to the root of it, and then that means somebody's gonna have to confess. Listen, I went through some things and made some wrong choices. Don't you know I had to actually sit down and apologize to my children for a lot of mistakes I made, because it caused them to go through things that was unnecessary and not unhealthy for them.
That's right.
So sometimes we got to come to the table and say, hey, I know I'm your mama, but that was wrong. That was a wrong choice I made. That was a wrong decision I made, because I don't want them to do the same thing. I don't want them to repeat that pattern. Right. So then sometimes I got to acknowledge that, no, that wasn't right. That wasn't the right decision. I should have prayed more about that. I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that. And it's causing you all to go through things as well. So we got to look at the patterns, and we got to stop carrying this baggage with us. Yeah, we got to break the curse somewhere. But what I'm getting back to about the young men, they are naturally aggressive, and that's why I like team sports and all that kind of stuff. Like my son that played football since he was 5. My son get out there, he get a chance to hit folks and throw balls and run and do all that testosterone, all that aggression. He can take it out on the field. He can use his mic to pick up a box for one of his teachers and carry it to the classroom. And so, like, who is teaching our children? Who is teaching our young men how to use their strength, how to use your aggression? So at some point, we got to turn that thing around and stop teaching them, okay, you could be a bad boy in the street. Ain't no women gonna tell you what to do. You choke, or you whatever the man was talking about, choke, 1, 2, choke that, we got to teach we gotta teach our young men how to use their aggression. They could use their strength in a lot of positive ways, but if they don't have anybody in the community or anybody in their house or anybody, and then now you got men wanting to get with these women and then don't want to work with these boys. You want the wife, you want the woman, but you don't want to work with the kids.
Yeah.
You don't want to try to help the kids. And if they ain't got no father and you come to their life and they real young, that's your role to try to help, to mold and make you. They don't have to be your child.
No, that person wanted to help now.
Yeah.
And you teach that child, what you know. You teach that child what you know. But somewhere we got to admit where we went wrong. Some men and women got to admit, as a parent, I went wrong. Yeah. Because at some point, we're going to have to stop pointing the finger at these children. These children didn't raise themselves.
Ooh. And going, I'm
goodness gracious.
I'm gonna jump in. Mr. Zeke, I enjoyed the things that you were saying. You hit a lot of different areas, where you cover a lot of different areas, but I'm gonna go back and to the part where when you mentioned about what a person, how they were raised,
Mm-hmm.
and what they whether it was a single home or whatever, but just uh whether it was a functional family or dysfunctional.
Right.
That's the term I use. And what you were saying, I was just like, yes, wow. Because after my husband and I got to that point where we were able to just actually talk, that was the root.
Mm-hmm.
I had my parents in my life. I was raised by my mom and my dad, all 8 of us. But when my husband married me, I already had children.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any children together. His mother, he didn't have his mom in his life. His mother died when he was 5. He had his daddy. He said daddy was a drunk, retired vet, had a girlfriend, ended up women in and out, and put them out, meaning got a house for them next door
Mm-hmm.
to his house when they were like 12 and 13 years old. Didn't understand it. And so when I would talk to him about things that you should do, what Kendra saying, with the boys, that my daddy would do with my brothers, and get them to help you do things around the house, or just take out time to do things with them. I got another whole person, but I didn't
Right.
understand that till later on, till he shared with me
Right. Right.
that
Right.
bothered him because he didn't have that, and so
Right.
it was
I was
like,
just finished.
you
Right.
get it on your own. You get yourself up out the bed. Don't lay around past
Right.
8 o'clock.
Right.
You get up and you
And
do this, and you gotta stop treating them like babies. I'm like, but they 12, they 11, and then I'm talking about boo cried when he shared with me, cause I can't even imagine my children being on their own,
right.
and will say
Right.
that how if they may got that sometimes they got fed, sometimes they
Sometimes
didn't,
you did. Right.
and so I'm like, that's like I've been living up on a rock. Like that happens to people,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
And what you
Right.
said, and it trickled down into this. And I mean, and it was like I'm like Kendra was saying, I've had to go there to share with my children, like because because they didn't ask. We are what the word is called blended. You have blended families,
Mm-hmm.
and it's deep. It is really
Oh yeah,
deep,
it is.
and I expect you to come in and be the Superman to swoop us up,
Right.
cause I'm just saying, cause like he married me, you married me. I had children for you, man. Like they were
Right.
little, like
Right.
three. They were 3 and 4 and 7 when he came on. You married me, so that I said package this, the package deal, baby. I'm broke. I'm broken too.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Mm-hmm.
broke. I'm
Right.
broke. We broken. So we can't do nothing. And I was married and was wanting the man to divorce me all at the same time. You know why? Had my wall up because I was used to the men walking off anyway. Out my
Right.
life was with me. So he said, "What's wrong with you?" Like any reason, anything to come up with, anything to just push him away. He said, "You do know I love you, right? You know I married you." So, baby, this thing can go all night past midnight. But I'm gonna stop talking. But I really enjoy what you said because, and it is. And once we understood it, and I found out,
Right.
I had to learn how to. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like certain things would just irk him and just bother him, just
Right.
rub him the wrong way.
Right.
But I'm like, but what did I say or do? I'm just telling you how my mom and daddy did, or how my daddy was, or whatever, and so, but no, that ain't what he wanted to hear because he
He
had
know
it.
he
He didn't
didn't have
have it.
it. Right.
That's
Right.
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 And so it was
Right.
almost like of a
Right.
somewhat like person envy. Um,
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know what other way to put it,
Right.
but
It's almost like I don't mean to cut you off. It's
yeah,
like
you
because I
good.
talk like say I be around like I go to the cigar lounge a lot, and I be around a
Yeah.
lot of older guys and I asked now I asked them is like what is it with the older guys in the generation like what is it where it make it hard for them to teach the younger guys and and they was like they were like you want to be you really want us to be honest like I really want you to be honest with me and they was telling me the reason is like it goes back to what you were saying a lot of them don't have the opportunities that we get now. As far as you got people you can go to find out, hey, I want to say you want to start a business. It's people you can go to that done that business, done been in that business, and can show you how to start their business so you won't fail like they have. And what bothers them is they say, a lot of us not taking advantage of what we have in front of us. And so that what makes them not want to give out the information. And it goes back to what I said. I want to add to it what you were saying about, as an adult in marriage, we forget that we still have room for growth. When we get that wife and get that husband, we forget that they are human. They still have room in them for growth. They're not perfect yet. They're not going to know all the duties of a husband, of a wife, put it all together and do it all at one time. And so I think that's one of the problems too, is that we forget that we learning every day. We still learning every day, no matter how old we get, because it's something you can learn every day. And so I think that's one of the biggest problems, that we forget that, just because we're grown and just because we have that soulmate, or that girlfriend or boyfriend we stand where we living together, we forget that, hey, you still have room for growth. So I need to let you grow. I need to help you grow. You see what I'm saying? Because, just like human nature, like trees that's 1,000 years old, but long as it rains, they still grow leaves. They still grow branches. So there is room for it, no matter. And that's what we get. And like I say, it's like you said, we can go on and on about it, man. But like I said, just that, like what we all been saying, we have to just face the fact. We have to, look what's the problem they're in their face and say, hey, this is what the problem is. But until we all, understand that, hey, in order for to make the situation better, we got to talk about it. We got to let, you got to let me know what's going on. Because like you're saying, you was expecting certain things from your husband, but wondering why they wasn't happening. But when he finally opened up and told, hey, this is, and like you say, a lot of times you don't like to hear about, this is how my mom and daddy did it. This is how my mom and dad. So, and it makes you feel like, okay, well, it must be right because her mom and daddy were both there and they said it that way. You see what I'm saying? You have the thoughts back here. My way must be wrong because I didn't have the correct, the guidance. No, your way might not be wrong. And so that's why certain, like you say, certain things we have to learn in relationship, because we have to know what to say around each other. Because some things, it might not be something you say, it might not be bad, but it's just something bring back memories.
That's right.
And so that's the, and that's the thing. So we have to, and that's what we, like I say, that's why with the learning each other, it's very important in relationships to talk and learn each other. It's very important because, that's the biggest problem, because the biggest problem you got two reasons. Finance is the number one reason for divorce. And you got no relationship. We like, we just like roommates. And so that's why I say you don't want to get to that point where it's like that. But sometimes, things happen for a reason. That's what I believe. What is good or bad, everything happens for a reason. Whether it was a lesson or a blessing. And so you have to just, just sit there, learn. Like I say, we still do it. I'm dealing with it, deal with it every day. And a lot of times, like I said, I can submit. A lot of times it was just me. You see what I'm saying? Because how I was raised. I wasn't raised off love. I was raised off survival. We're gonna survive. It's not, it wasn't no, hey, how you doing? I love you, I miss this and that. It's, hey, this is what we got to do today. This is what, this is what we got to do. And so that's why I say it's a lot of times we have to sit down and we have to talk, and as men and women, we have to understand, our partner, and understand what affected them and why, it affected them and why it still bothers them to this day. Because, like you say, everybody didn't have a home where it was all fanny and danny, like you say, this, like you say, you can imagine yourself, your kids trying to survive at 12 years old on their own, not knowing if you're going to eat every day. You see what I'm saying? And so and I can, and I can relate, I can relate to that, because like I say, it was a lot of days, we didn't know where the meal was going to come from. We didn't know, like, cold in the house is winter time, without heat, and that's what I try to tell the kids now and tell my brothers, my sister, my kids is that, you got to take advantage of what's going on right now in front of you because it could be worse. Like, you don't, I tell them, y'all don't experience, y'all don't know what it is not to have food in the house. You don't know what it is for the lights to be cut off. You don't know what it is for, how you gonna get shoes and clothes for school. You don't know that feeling. And so that's why I'm so big on zero understanding of excuses, because you have no excuses. Like, to me, because you don't have to worry about, do you got to help pay this bill? Do you got to help pay the light bill? The car, all you do, you come in the house and the lights on, you flip them on, you open the refrigerator, you turn the heat on, you turn the air on, and so that's why I say, it just, you have to gain their relationship. And I'm talking about mentally with your significant other, your companion. You have to gain that relationship, and not it just be on paper or just a ring. It have to be, it have to be, you got to be close. And I think that's just the biggest problem, that, like you said, we got to look it in the face of what happened. It is just a cycle, it's a trend, it's going on and on and on. And but and a lot of times you can't blame the fathers. It's not just on the fathers, because you got some fathers, that want to be, like we just had the discussion in the barbershop. I was telling my guys, and I had to rethink it. And I was saying, well, you can't say you want to be in your child life, but the mom will let them. But it's things that you can do. It's places you can go beyond that. But he's like, you're right. But a lot of people don't know, or you ain't got the funds to fight. And so I had to go and rethink that. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't have the money to go say, I need to go get me a lawyer. I need to go do this because I'm trying to get, see my child. I can't see the mom keeping them from me and things like that. And what made it confirmation to me, because you got a guy that's a millionaire, and this man got money, and he just posted this on Christmas Day. He's like, my child mother is keeping my child away from me. I don't know what to do. He done did all he can. And that's what made me go rethink it. And like, and it's sometimes it's the mother. And that it is what it is. And because I was telling them, no, them excuses. It's a way you can go see your child. But then here it is, God put it in front of me and showed me, and I'm looking at it, like, this man is a millionaire. He can't get to see his child. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, he got the funds with his own lawyer, do everything. So what is it? And sometimes, like you say, we just have to, pray, and we have to try to, trust God. And sometimes like I say, everything happens for a reason.
We got to try to work together, because like some men are actually good fathers. I can see if you're dealing with a man that's a danger to your child or something like that. But there's a lot of good fathers out there that want to be involved with their children's lives. We can't be in our feelings about that. We gotta let them be fathers. If they want to be fathers and they want to be around the child, they're not putting the child in harm's way, in no danger or anything. We can't be in our feelings because we're upset that the relationship didn't work. Or we try to be controlling. So since we can control it, sometimes as women, we want to be in control of the situation. So just because you're raising the children doesn't mean that you're supposed to try to control the situation and decide how things are supposed to go. You got to work with that parent. If that parent is a good parent and loving and caring to those children and want to spend time with those children, they're not putting them in no danger or harm's way. Let them be fathers, or let the mothers be mothers. Let the fathers be fathers without trying to control everything. Just because the person may be the custodial parent or the children may be living with them, then they want to control everything. But we have to try to work together so that the children can be okay. Because sometimes what's needed is that child, that father needs to be in those children's life. And I'm not just talking about the boys, I'm talking about girls too. Sometimes that's what they need, that father figure in their life. So just because the person was not a good husband or a good wife, or the man wasn't a good mate to you, it doesn't mean he's not going to be a good father to those children. It might not have worked out with you, But hey, it might that if that father got love for his children, won't see his children, then I mean, we don't have to pay to see our kids. You know what I'm saying? Just because that person may fall on hard times and not able to do this, not able to do that, then we snatch the child away. That's not teaching that child the right pattern of behavior.
Right.
You know,
Right.
well, I ain't gonna, they didn't buy him no Jordans for Christmas, so he ain't gonna see nobody this year. You know, so that's the wrong attitude to have when you're trying to raise productive children. That's gonna be healthy. They need that father figure. If that person is the right person, sometimes God will bless that person with another person, you know, in their lives or something like that. Another father figure. If that other father is unfit, I say, or if the mother is unfit, sometimes God blesses them to be raised by somebody else that is, you know, that. But I don't feel like women should hold, you know, keep these men that are productive, that they need their father. Don't keep them away from them.
Okay.
Okay.
Kendra.
All right. Well, man, that's a lot. Let me just say it like this. I'm gonna have to say good night, and we're gonna have to continue it on another time. I really appreciate everybody and everybody giving their spiel on what's the spiel concerning warning signs of unhealthy relationship. I think you all went into it a little deeper, which is a good thing because this is the first time I ever like I haven't had I don't have anything to say. Like I was actually over here listening and trying to get some stuff together with whatever it was going on. But anyway, I appreciate you all. I really do. Thank you, Mr. Zeke. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Nell. Thank you, Kendra. And I think we had a couple of people in the comments. Mr. Billy, I don't really know who you are, but I appreciate you for joining in with the comments. Hey, all of this was done in 2021. I'm looking forward to 2022. I am. Okay, but somewhere in there, I think I'm gonna end it. Okay, there's Kendra. She's back. So we're gonna just go on, y'all.
Okay.
Happy New
Yeah,
Year
have a
to
good night.
you. Not New Year's, but Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year
New
to you
Don't
all.
Year.
forget that. Please don't forget
1
that.
year.
So get that off of it, y'all. It's just one. So
Happy
get
New
that
Year.
off.
1 year.
I'm trying to tell you, Happy New Year to you before it even comes, because I know we're gonna be able to see it. So I actually appreciate you all. It has been a journey, and I'm here to tell you, 2022, I'm just ready. Baby, why y'all let it go and get your t-shirt next time? Put them on. It is what it is. Please, I'm
Marie,
hollering at you, man.
Marie, send my t-shirt.
I got you. I'm gonna send it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say good night.
Good night. Good night, you all.
All right. I'm gonna
Enjoy
say good
you
night.
all.
But I
Thank
say
you,
again,
Zeke,
I appreciate you
Vivian,
all. Thank
Janelle.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Zeke and Naya. Yes, y'all. Okay.